There's so much to be said about celebrating a birthday. My question to you is, what else are you celebrating in your life? For me, this tomorrow actually will be my 64th birthday. And so many changes have taken place between the 63rd and the 64th that is about to come. I want you to think about what changes and new things are you letting into your life between your last birthday and your up and coming birthday. Welcome back to another episode of Rollerset to Mindset. I'm Angela Fuller. I am your guide when you find yourself at a crossroads and you're wondering what is next for you. And that's the very same question I asked myself about a year and a half ago. What is next for me? I spent 35 years of my life, of my adult life, helping women to look and feel beautiful on the outside. And I decided, you know what? Transformation is an inside job. So after retiring from the beauty industry, I am presently a transformation life coach, a transformation bliss coach. And I love the idea of helping women move from one chapter of their life into the next chapter. And so today I just want to talk a little bit about what does it mean for you to create your next life chapter. So many times we just don't know what that looks like, and we wonder, will we ever even know? Well, I hope with this episode I can help you with that. I hope I can help you restore and rise and just reclaim that place where you know you should be, but somehow you feel like it's eluding you, it's slipping through your hand. So let's decide where we would like to begin. I wrote a few things down so that I don't forget. And so let's explore this together. And while I'm finding my way to this page, I want to ask you something. What's next for you? Have you given it any thought? Have you allowed yourself to sit down and get clear, to even build the courage to even think about creating a next life chapter or doing your next thing? And what about the confidence that's required to do that? When I stood behind my styling chair, I had the confidence of a giant of a woman. I knew what to give my clients before they even ask, because it was a gift. It was a process that I had developed over the 35 years. And so my main thing when my clients came to sit in my chair was to offer them bliss. There was no doubt in my mind. There was no lack of courage. I wasn't confused. I was ready to impart bliss. And so when you think about bliss, what is it you feel is missing? What's keeping you from your bliss? What's keeping you from your bliss? A lot of us sometimes are just unclear. We are just simply unclear. A lot of us are burnt out and we feel stuck. We feel like we don't have any value. So let's lean into that. First of all, what I want you to know is this, is that you are more than where you currently are. You are so much more than where you currently are. And I had to really work on myself because I had seen myself in certain roles. I had children. I saw myself as a mom. I saw myself as my husband's wife. I saw myself as a sister, as a friend. I saw myself as an entrepreneur, but I did not see myself as Angie. What did I want for me? And what defined me for the sole purpose of me being me, not who I was to other people. And when you operate in roles over the years, year after year after year after year, sometimes you can forget who you are. Sometimes you can forget your own desires because you've lost it in the service of others. Now, don't get me wrong. Service is a thing that I think all of us are to connect with. But when we serve others and we don't serve ourselves, we will find ourselves trying to give, trying to serve from an empty well. And that's when we get burnt out. That's when we get burnt out. So I want you to really think about, who are you? What is your identity based upon how you see yourself? And sometimes it's not even about how you see yourself, but the person you would like to be, but you don't even know how to take the first step. And so maybe this is a sign. Maybe this is a sign from me that I want to invite you to make room for yourself. Make room for your gifts. There's a verse in the Bible that talks about that our gifts will make room for us. And so I'm asking you to consider allowing your gifts, allowing who you are at your core to make room for you. Embrace the fact that you are beautifully and wonderfully made, and you came here for a specific purpose. And allow yourself to dare believe that this is your moment to create that next life chapter that you have buried deep inside in your heart. Because the word tells us that your gift will make room for you. But sometimes those gifts show up in ways we don't want to step into. Sometimes those gifts looks like taking a new direction, a pivot. Sometimes you got to reset. Sometimes you need some coaching, some mentorship. Sometimes you need a more peaceful schedule. I don't know what it is that you need, but what I do know is that you have the power to start using your gifts in a way that serves you. Therefore, when you serve others, you're pouring out of a well that is overflowing. And I know that some of you are uncomfortable. I know, because I've been there. I know you are uncomfortable because you've outgrown who you used to be. You've outgrown the way people see you and label you, but you're still trying to shrink and fit into that mold. And I know I'm right about it. I know I'm right about it because that was me. And sometimes that's even still me. And if you're not careful, your burnout may be your breakdown. And that's what we will avoid in this conversation. So let's talk about the reason. The reason. As a matter of fact, you write it down. Put it in a comment. Write it down. What do you think your reasons are for being or feeling burnt out? What do you think your real reasons are? If you can be honest with yourself, and you're the only one who's going to see that paper, or if you're brave enough that you invite others in to see it, what do you think? Just give me your reason for feeling burnt out. Trust and believe me, it's not because of the people that you serve. It wasn't because of my clients. Absolutely not. It wasn't because of my family, my friends, my loved one. No, not at all. It wasn't because of the long hours that I work, and it's not because of the time that you spend serving others, if you being honest. And it's not even about your skill set. It's not about your gifts. It's not about your talents. It's not about the use of any of those, but it's about alignment. Did you hear me? It's about your alignment, because that is what I discovered what it was about for me. It's about the misalignment between who you are now and the version of you, your career, your dreams is still demanding of you. So you've got to become aligned. Because think about it, when you hear the word, even by definition, the word alignment, that means everything is flowing in the right direction. The current is flowing in the right direction. And it swoops you up and it takes you along with it. So who's ready to be swept up and move with the current, move with the flow of your bigger picture, of your larger life, of your bigger dreams? Who's ready for that? Who is ready for that? Because if you were honest with yourself, you would say that you have grown. You've grown. You could feel it. But the world doesn't know. Your people doesn't know. The people who see you doesn't know, because you're keeping it to yourself, because you're afraid of being judged. You're afraid of what other people would think. Ask me how I know. You've evolved. Internally, you have evolved, but you are not willing to show up as the evolved woman that you are. I know, because I used to be that, and sometimes I I visit that lane. But I'm gonna tell you something. In a few hours, I'm gonna be 1 year older. I'm gonna be 64. And I am more ready now to show up as that evolved person that I have ever been. And that's where, when you make the decision that you are going to show up more of who you know you are, of who God has called you to be, that's when the cracks start to happen. That's when you start to feel uncomfortable. That's when you can't sleep peacefully at night, because it's gnawing away at you. And so I want to encourage you to find your fuller life. Find it. You don't have to, guess what? It's waiting for you. It's already done. It's waiting for you to walk towards it. It's waiting for you to become, and you do not have to do that thing by yourself, because that was my problem. I felt like I had to do everything by myself. I want to remind you that the conversations that we are having, it does not have to stop when the episode is over. I offer private coaching for women who are ready to step into their next life chapter with clarity, courage, confidence, and bliss. So if you're feeling stuck, or you know there's more for you, but you just don't see a path forward, you don't see a path forward yet, let's work together and allow me to help create it for you. Click the link in the description if you're watching via YouTube, or if you're listening on your listening device. Check out the show notes and schedule your session today, because your next chapter isn't waiting, and neither should you. Now, let's get back to the episode. I was I was so used to giving help, to offering advice, until I felt like I could not show up needing help, needing advice, needing direction. And I know that there were women ready for me, books ready for me, podcasts ready and waiting for me to pour into me. But not me. Not the one who gave all the advice, not the one who had the listening ear, not the one who was full of bliss and showed up blissful. so that I could pour that and allow others to feed off of my bliss, my joy, because I'm the type of person that could feel pain and discomfort in other people. And it breaks my heart when I recognize that in them. So I felt like I had to show up not just with my joy and bliss, but with theirs too. And that's a hard order. That's something hard to keep. And I know I'm not by myself. I know there's some of you listening and some of you watching on this YouTube who live the same way. You feel like you got to bring it for yourself and for the next woman. I know. But guess what? You're doing somebody else's job. You're doing God's job and you're doing the next person's job. And it took me a while to find my way and to say, look, I can be a guide for someone. I don't have to be that person's joy, but I can be a guide towards their joy. And so I'm telling you, you can too. Feed yourself. Put your mask on first so that you can have enough. You can have enough to give, to help, to serve, to guide, and to lead. Okay? So the first pillar I want to talk to you about is clarity. Seeing yourself again. See yourself again. Because some of us have eyes, but we still can't see. So what are you seeing? Who are you seeing yourself as? And if it's not your ideal self, if you are not being your ideal self, if that's too far for you to see, then look back. Look back on who you used to be and measure yourself against who you presently are. And you will see that you have grown on some level. You do have an awareness on some level, and don't make the decision of you being a little bit more clear from the point of exhaustion. But do it from a place of reconnecting with yourself, with who you are, with what you want, with how God is trying to guide you. Not your best friend, not your sister, not your client, not your coworker, not your children, but how God is desiring to guide you. The next pillar is courage. Hear me, ladies, courage. Develop the courage. Imagine the courage to stand up for not only your future self, but for your present self. For your present self. I want you to stand up for the courage to change. Stand up. Sit up. For the courage to change. For the courage to know your worth. For the courage to pivot, to rest, and to do things differently. That alone changes the game. To do things differently? Who are you to do something differently? You are a woman on the rise. You are a woman built to do hard things. You are a woman who was born to do incredible things. The third pillar, and for a lot of us, this is a tough one because when we're moving into something new and we haven't done it before, it's hard to develop the self-confidence to do it. But this is what I want you to consider. I want you to develop the confidence to reclaim yourself, because I know you've seen yourself at your best in your mind's eye. I know you've seen yourself at your best using your imagination. And that's the person I want you to conjure up. I want you to stop questioning your self-worth and don't compare your worth to someone else's. because you have no idea. You only see what they show you, but you don't know their dark nights. You don't know their bent over moments. You don't know their fearful moments. So stop comparing yourself to someone else. Stop questioning your worth and understand over and over and over again, hands down every time, that you are beautifully and wonderfully made. And I want you to start acting. Even if you don't believe it, start acting like the leader that you are. Start acting, showing up as the creator that you are. And certainly begin to step into the role in your mind's eye, in your imagination, the woman that God has called and designed you to be. Because God don't make no mistakes. No, 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 no. He's not that type of God. He's the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. The same God. He's sovereign. If he said it, it is already done. And it's just a matter of you catching up to that version of you. And the fourth pillar, my beautiful women, is bliss, joy, excitement. Smiling from the inside out. You know what I mean. Yes, you do. You know what I mean. I want you to build your life back up and feel the excitement that you're building someone new. You're building your life back up. Because being busy, like a lot of us are, is not the same as being fulfilled. And that is what bliss will do for you. It helps you to feel fulfilled from the inside out. Every time I set out to reconnect with myself, man, you talk about a feeling like no other. It's a feeling like no other. And hear me when I tell you that you deserve a life that feels good again. Matter of fact, when was the last time you felt good? I mean, really, really good. When was the last time? When I asked myself that question, when was the last time I felt really good? That opened up a tunnel in me that got wider and wider and wider, and I was able to break through. This is the pathway that saved me. And then I was ready to walk away from what wasn't serving me, the things that did not bring me joy, the things, the people, the places, the things that did not bring me my rightful bliss, my rightful joy. You know, I was born to be blissful. I was born to feel joy, to be joy. And it's the pathway that will reset you. Even if you don't believe it right now, borrow my belief. It's the pathway that's going to reset you. And so, if you're listening to this right now, if you're looking at this right now, and you feel like you're too old to pivot, you're too late to pivot, you're too scared to pivot, too late to try again, too tired, to keep going, not old enough to keep going, or too scared to even start. Is that you? Too scared to even start something new? I want you to know that it's not too late. You're not done. That's not it. And you're not behind. You can't get behind when you're just getting started. You're starting from where you're starting. And the rest of time, the rest of the future, the things, the people, the places, the things that you are going to see, it's all waiting for you. Because you're being called to higher. Higher, not HIRE. You're being called to higher ground, higher ground. And I am here to guide you, to encourage you, to walk with you through. So if this episode spoke to you and you felt something, I want you to subscribe, like the episode, go back and look at some of my older ones. Whatever it takes to build your clarity, your courage, your confidence, and your bliss, because I want you to thrive. I want you to thrive. So I'm going to leave a link to my community that I have on school in hopes that it does something for you. You know, maybe it will open your eyes a little bit where you can see just a little bit of light. I don't know. I can't say for certain what it's going to do for you. But what I can say is that it will allow you to see clearer. It will allow you to hear yourself clearer. It will allow you to touch that part of you that's been lying dormant. You know, don't be afraid. It's waiting for you. And remember, transformation is not, it doesn't begin with what people see on the outside. Transformation is an inside job. And when you create that inside job, what people see will be your truth. I'll talk with you next week. Okay? Bye. Mwah.